Good morning, welcome back. Today, fitting a tail tidy on your Triumph Scrambler 1200. Firstly, you need the seat off, and unlike the previous Scrambler models, with this one, it's just a twist of the key. Next, we need the phone charging tray out of the way, and it's 2 screws in the middle and 1 screw at the back, and they're 5mm Allen screws. Then lift out the phone charging tray, rotate it 90 degrees. No need to unplug anything, just sit it down there out of the way. That gives us all the access we need. Next, there's a couple of bolts at the front of the mudguard underneath, in line with the shocks. They've got to come out, and they're a tiny little 8mm socket head. They're also thread locked in at the factory, so take them out carefully, work them in and out if you need to, so you don't risk snapping them off in the frame. Right, next, when you look in the top, you'll notice a little white plug just on the right hand side of the mudguard. That's all the power to your back end. So lift it out of its clip, gently unplug it. Then you've got 4 screws, Torx T30, and they're arranged around the seat lock. Take 3 of them out. When you take the 4th one out, put your hand underneath and catch the mudguard. Right, when you take this out from underneath the bike, there are 4 little top hat washers that live on top of the mudguard, and they go up into the rubber grommets. There's nothing holding them in once the fasteners are removed, and they'll probably fall out. One of them in this case did, that one there, just lodged at the front of the mudguard, and the other 3 are just hanging on into their holes. So be conscious that they are there and make sure you don't lose them. Right, for this part of it, you need a soft surface to lay your mudguard on, because we're going to turn it on its top, and this brushed aluminium surface is quite easy to mark and they're quite expensive to replace. So first of all, we release it from the front with these 2 rubber grommets with steel top hat washers. Just remove those and it will come free. And then underneath, we've got 2 10mm nuts that go through to the light. If you take those out, then we can separate the 2 halves. Now from the plastic section, we need to retrieve the wiring harness from down inside it, and this boxed section at the rear is held together with 3mm Allen screws on the base. And with the number plate bracket removed, and take the 2 halves, slide them apart. Right, once open, we need this piece of harness retrieved. There are 5 plugs connecting it, and there's 1 piece of harness and the number plate light we also need to retrieve as well. And the number plate light is held in with a Torx screw at the front, which is T20. And these, just give them a squeeze like that and they come undone. Right, this is a Tech Bike parts kit that we're using for this, and at this point it's where the disassembly finishes and the reassembly begins. This is the turnaround point. So take the tail tidy itself, and the first thing to assemble onto it is the number plate light we just removed. Right, this Tech Bike parts kit comes with two options. You can have just the tail tidy itself, which you then take your mudguard and you cut the back of it off, and when it's cut correctly and there are full instructions, you bolt your tail tidy onto it. That's easy. But if you don't want to do that, if you don't feel confident doing it, or you want to keep your mudguard for posterity, they offer a pre-cut one, which you can have in a secondary kit. So the kit that includes this one, well, this is not a cheap thing. This is a genuine Triumph mudguard. They literally bought them from Triumph and pre-cut them accurately, so you can just bolt your tail tidy straight onto it. So if you prefer a plug and play option, that's the way to go, get the full kit. But if you don't want to spend as much money, you can take yours and you can cut it. And again, there are full instructions on how to do that. But for this case, we're going to fit the pre-cut one because it's just bolt together. Right, now I think it's essential with any tail tidy fitment to use smaller indicators as well, especially in the case of the Scrambler, because the big fat plastic indicators can get burnt by the exhaust when you move them forward and closer in. So in this case, we're going to use the Tech Bike parts metal fat bullet shaped ones. I think they're fantastic. They're about half the size of the factory ones and they really set it off well. Now they come obviously with universal bullet connectors. They also give you some little connectors in the kit where you can change the bullet connectors to Triumph connectors. That's what they are. You just crimp them on. But again, if you want this to be truly plug and play and you don't want to be crimping and soldering and heat shrinking or anything like that, they also supply available a little jockey harness which you can plug into the universal, and on the other end is a Triumph plug to plug into your Triumph harness. Again, full plug and play. I'll leave a link to all these parts in the description. Black to black. Colour to colour. Plug and play. Right, now looking at the factory setup, this is the red tape around the right hand indicator. So red to the right, and on a little harness it's therefore red to the right. So that's the right indicator. And again, as these are now Triumph plugs, plug straight in and play. There we are. Colour to colour. And back to black. Right, when this fits together, the two pieces, the aluminium mudguard and the plastic under tray, fit together, and the wiring all fits in between. It all feeds down the inside, so you can't see it top or bottom. And also the tail tidy itself, the metal bracket, this thing fits neatly on top in between the two. So the first thing to do is turn over your tail tidy with all the wiring nice and tidy and lay it neatly in this track that's provided for it. A track to keep it safe so nothing gets pinched or trapped. Right, just to make sure that your wiring harness isn't trapped anywhere between the two, just give it a jiggle about, make sure it all moves freely and sits in the little track that's provided for it, and then you can pinch them up, tighten them down. Okay, just as a test, once you've got everything loosely installed, bring it over to the bike, plug it in, and just make sure everything works correctly and as it should do before you finally install everything. Right, there we are. Now in real time, that takes about an hour to 2 hours to fit, depending on whatever you might run into. All of the places you find thread lock on fasteners, make sure you replace it. So clean it off with a wire wheel, add some fresh thread lock afterwards, because the factory put it there for a reason. And also with those tiny little electrical plugs, be very careful putting them back together because they've got minute little pins inside them. And if you bend them, you can't buy the plug on its own. You have to buy chunks of the wiring loom itself, and that'd be quite expensive. So take your time, be careful, and make a really nice install. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Take it easy, ride safe. We'll see you next time.